All right, we are here with another championship transformation. I'm with one of our clients that completed 12 weeks with me in our Coaching Your Corner remote program. And I want her to tell her story. What is your name?
Victoria Mattachione.
Awesome, Victoria. What do you do for work, Victoria?
I'm in public relations and marketing,
Okay, cool. So mostly sitting? Is that what you?
mostly sitting.
Okay, so pretty sedentary. So before reaching out to me, Victoria's story is very interesting. She worked with us before, then she came back with us.
hmm
Uh, maybe let's talk a little bit about what happened in time from when you first worked with us to when you started. Like, how was life like? What was fitness and health like?
hmm
Restarting.
So when we first started together, it was a lot of strength conditioning and recovery for me because I had a number of accidents. I had really messed my shoulders up and my back was really bad. So I had a lot of great or I saw a lot of great improvement when I worked with you the first time. And when I came back this time, again, it was a bunch of flare-ups. Um, I had two herniated discs in my neck, which are still there. Spoiler, feel way better now. But I also had a bit of fluctuating weight gain just due to the previous year and some things that had come up from a personal perspective. So I had reached out to you to kind of help with that. And I personally think that it's been extremely rewarding. I reached my goals within that 12 weeks, but I've also been able to hit a really strong maintenance where it comes to my pain management, where it probably was sitting at a 7 and 8 on a constant. I'm sitting closer to a 3 often. And when I do feel it, I have more of the tools to remind myself on how to shift my body and what I'm going to do and how I need to do it. Um, and a lot of the stretches that you gave me specifically for my neck, because I'm constantly doing this, and I need to always kind of push back, those have kind of become a bit more second nature to me. And I find that when I do feel that pain start kicking in, it's almost like an automatic response. I'll lay down, I'll do my stretches, I'll move. So for me, it's been very rewarding overall.
That's awesome. So you got really good results first time. Things started to creep up again. Let's talk measurable. What were some of your results in the last 12 weeks? I know you touched on one, which pain, which is huge. It went from a 7 to a 3. What were
Yeah.
other measurable results from the 12 weeks?
Um, my sleep is so much better. I used to wake up in the middle of the night and I felt really uncomfortable between my neck, my shoulders, and my lower back. And I find that I can sleep more consistently and far better now. I know I told you this, but it's like the smallest win, but it's so nice. I had to go get my hair done and I could put my head in the sink and it didn't hurt. Most of the time, I find I'm completely uncomfortable. My hairstylist would have to put something under my neck to help elevate it. It was the first time in a huge amount of years, actually, that I felt comfortable doing that. Um, and even just like the overall mobility of my neck, I don't feel like I always have to crack it. I'm hanging out on my neck a lot because that's my biggest pain area, but like
Yes. Yeah.
I feel I don't always have to crack it. If I am cracking it, I actually can identify that it's more stress induced than anything else versus just overall weakness. Even my shoulders, when I um, was initially starting this process, I remember telling you like they're popping or they're still cracking. They're staying in place, which is really nice. Even like because I have hypermobility, my knees are way stronger. I don't always have to wear a brace, and I'm finding that I've switched my focus to when I have to wear a brace, it's shifted from this perspective of it's a weak point to it's a warming point. It's just making sure that the stability stays there and my knee stays warm, which has helped me a lot. And it's
Mhm.
actually forced me to um I want to say pay more attention to
Yes.
how my form is working. Um so yeah, there's a lot in that sense. And I mean overall like the tone and the definition and the muscle mass and all that, the fact that it's come back and I can lift heavier again has been really nice.
That's awesome. So a couple things I heard from there. Body awareness has been
Yeah.
huge. Like the fact that you started training, you kind of know where your body is in space and you can adjust it accordingly
hmm
because you've gotten stronger, which I think
Yeah.
is the second point is, strength fixes a lot of imbalances and a lot of issues, especially for hypermobility. If you are hypermobile, it's usually strengthening the joints is really critical to make sure that the joints don't move excessively. which I think
Mhm.
you've done. I always look at like fitness and health in like three ways. So we got the fitness down. I think we came up with a good plan. We built a program that was doable, sustainable. You could easily access it from where you're living. The other things I look at is nutrition and accountability. How is the nutrition? How did you find the nutrition in the last 12 weeks?
Um, so it's interesting because this nutrition model that you gave me was tweaked a little bit from the first one, but once I got back into it, the habits came back. Because again, you fall into terrible habits very quickly, I think. And I over the last year, that's kind of what happened to me. So when I got back into it, it was easy for me to get back into, which was nice. And it what I like about the nutrition is it didn't strip anything from me. I can still eat certain things. I just have to be a little bit more mindful of it. But it was honestly really good, and I attribute a lot of my better sleep patterns to the way that I been able to eat and the better habits that I've implemented through your program because I've noticed, I went through a week in this program where I was running events every single day and I wasn't tracking it and I was just eating what I could when I could and being a little scavenger. And I will say that I noticed my sleep just tanked in that week. So nutrition is like just one of those things where you can see those kind of body awareness things even through the nutrition elements of it. And honestly, it's not that hard. Once you get into a good rhythm with it, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
And from an accountability perspective, I mean, you and I have talked about this. I think that's my biggest challenge area, just because I'm always so busy. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I can do it later. And then I push it off. And it's just making sure that I'm accountable to not only my goals, but why I'm doing this, what has
Yeah.
been super helpful. I mean, having you supporting has been also been really great as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's awesome. So that was going to be my point I was going to jump into next, but going back to the nutrition side of things, it may seem like a big switch, like people think diet, but it's not really a diet, it's just principled eating.
yeah,
And the key with it, because you probably know what good eating looks like, but the key is the accountability and just making sure you're tracking, you're taking photos of it, somebody's
yeah,
watching. But the interesting about the accountability is you did this with your f fiance, right?
yes, yeah.
Fiance,
Yeah,
which definitely helped with the accountability, I bet.
it definitely, okay, so it definitely did. I think I ended up holding him a bit more accountable, especially at the beginning. Um, what I also, okay, so what I also will say is that, and I think this happens to anybody in any kind of new relationship, when we first started dating, um, I felt like I had to keep up with how he was eating because, you know, you buy for the biggest stomach in the house at that point, and then you try to make the food that way it's cost effective, etc. And I actually was telling him this is part of the reason why I said we should go talk to Joe is because I said, I think you're overeating and I don't think you're actually getting the results you want because you're overeating. And it turned out he was actually overeating. So the ability, because our programs are similar, just a little bit different, it helped me prove a point to him that we can buy similar foods and we just have to break them out a little bit differently. But yeah, like his accountability, I think, completely changed, and his way that he's managing his food and I am managing my food has become far easier. And we're not sacrificing like taste for macros for any of that. Like it's all about, and I think this is I personally really liked this about your program because I get married to the numbers really quickly.
Mhm.
Um, Not tracking all the macros and all that and looking at it from just a grams perspective of you're just looking at it from your fist, it's easier for me to then take that and translate that into everyday life because that's one of my biggest pain points is I don't want to get married to the numbers because
Mhm.
that can create a bit of a challenge for me.
Yeah.
So just being able to look at the food in a different way and how you measure it has also been helpful to both of us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So the accountability for him, initially, it seems like you kept him accountable, which I think from you told me, and like maybe I'll have another call with Brandon on this, but his results were pretty good too, from what you were saying.
Yes, his results have been really, really good. Sorry. His results have been really good because I mean, I use the example of he said to you he wanted vanity arms, and like within 2 weeks he got them and now can't fit into one of his shirts. Like it it's all about, I think it's all about balance. And I think that was probably both of our biggest challenges, is finding the balance and finding kind of what works best for both of us. And for him specifically, I think it worked really, really well, in my opinion. You can ask him.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. Will hopefully we'll get a chance to chat with him about his how his journey went with this. So I kind of want to finish this off with like I think a lot of people when they do programs, one of the biggest concerns is how do you maintain it and keep going with it
Mhm.
right afterwards? How do you plan to keep this going?
So, I did actually find an app, like a free app that I can track everything in. So I think that's a big thing, because what I like to see is my strength growth in weight. So being able to do that has been super helpful so far. Brandon and I think it helps when you have somebody to keep you accountable. So Brandon and I are also doing that. So we've actually employed the behavior of sending each other photos of our food. Um, I think we mostly are doing it to prove who's the better cook at this point, but whatever works for you. Um, and for me, it's just I'm constantly reminding myself of how much better I feel right now. And that's like really what's driving me, is like the fact that I can move my neck and it doesn't hurt and I'm getting more sleep, all of those kind of things. Like that's really motivating me and keeping me accountable.
Good.
And because and I know we've talked about this, everything that you kind of taught is simple. It's simple and executionable. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't, you don't have to, do so much extreme things to get what you want. So it's already kind of become muscle memory for me. And I
Mhm.
think just the satisfaction that I get from all of this is just helping keeping me motivated.
That's awesome. So a lot there to unpack. Number one, I think some type of tool or something that can constantly keep track of your progress, which is key.
Hmm.
Either it's strength, body composition, whatever. Even taking photos, keep it very low tech. Just take snap photos,
Yeah.
which is key. That's going to keep it going. And number two, remembering why you are doing this, and also thinking
Yeah.
back to where you were before is going to
Yeah.
is going to be critical to keep maintaining and even see improvement in this,
Hmm.
which is awesome. Victoria, congratulations. Like I'm super happy for you. I'm glad that not only you got really good results, but Brandon did too. And hopefully you can maintain this. Let's see better gains. And I always talk about
Yeah.
the biggest transformation. I mean, there's physical changes and all that, but I think the biggest transformation is a change from someone who may not have made this a priority in their life to now making it a bigger priority,
Yeah.
a bigger basically a bigger part of their life. So
Yeah.
congratulations, Victoria. Thank you so much for doing
Thank
this.
you. Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.